Hello everyone. Before starting the video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thanks. About previous video. In my previous video, I explained how to manage bandwidth using the RUCKUS Unleashed network web management interface, and why it's important to properly manage bandwidth. Here's a brief summary of what I covered. I practically configured and tested the following features offered by the RUCKUS Unleashed network web management interface. Number 1. Per station, per client or per IP address based bandwidth allocation. Number 2. Per Wi-Fi network or SSID based bandwidth allocation. Purpose of this video. In this video I will be covering the following topics. Number 1. What are the access control lists or, for short, we may call it as ACL. Number 2. How many types of ACL offered by the RUCKUS Unleashed network web management interface? Number 3. How to practically configure these access control lists. What are the access control lists or ACLs? In simple words, ACLs or access control lists are the rules, when applied to a Wi-Fi network, will either allow or restrict clients from using network resources, based on their MAC address, IP address, operating system type, applications and ports etc. By network resources I mean, connecting to a specific Wi-Fi network or SSID, the Internet, router, DHCP server, DNS server, printers, scanners, and other network-connected devices. We create these rules and apply them later on, when required. Types of access control lists. Before proceeding, let me show you that my laptop is connected to a Wi-Fi network, which I will be working on. The Wi-Fi network name that my laptop is connected to is Test SSID. To show you the types of ACLs, I will access the web management interface of the RUCKUS Unleashed network. So, I will open an internet browser and type the full address. Press the Enter button. Click on the Advanced button and then click on the link given below. On the login page, enter the username and password. Click on the Unleash button. After logging in, I will scroll down and click on the Admin and Services tab to expand it. Now click on the Services tab. Under the Services tab, click on the Access Control link. On the right side, we can see all the available access control lists. The first ACL type is Layer 2 or MAC Access Control. The second type of ACL is Layer 3, 4 or IP Address Access Control. The third type of ACL is Device Access Policy. The fourth one is the Client Isolation Allow list. All the lists will be created here and we can link these lists to the Wi-Fi network later, whenever required. I will cover the first three types of ACL lists in this video. For the fourth type of ACL, I mean, Client Isolation, I will make another video. Don't worry, I will show you later in this video how we can create and link these lists to a Wi-Fi network. Layer 2 or MAC Access Control. Let's start with the first type of ACL, which is Layer 2 or MAC Access Control. Since MAC address works at Layer 2 of the OSI model, that is why it is also called Layer 2 Access Control. Here, we can allow or deny clients or client devices from accessing a specific wireless or Wi-Fi network by adding their MAC addresses. To create a list, click on the Create button. Create a new list page will appear. In the name field, type name of the list. I am going to name this list as Test Block. We can type any name here as per our convenience. Next field is the description field. This field is optional. So, I am leaving this field empty. Next is the restriction options. Here we can either choose to allow or deny all the clients, which we will add here to this list. I am going to select the option, only deny the stations listed below. All clients with MAC addresses added to this list will not be allowed to connect to the Wi-Fi network that this list will be linked to. To show you the demo, I will add here the MAC address of my laptop wireless adapter. I have copied the wireless adapter's details from my laptop to a notepad. I will copy the MAC address from here, also known as physical address, and add it to the list. In the description field, I will name it IT Laptop. After entering the MAC address and description, if I press the Add button, a message appears, saying, the format of the MAC address we enter is not correct. We can see an example of the MAC address format here. I will press the OK button. Now I will delete all the hyphens and replace them with colons. After doing this, if I press the plus button or add button, the MAC address will be added to the list. We can see that one station has been added to the list successfully. We can delete this station or client simply by pressing the delete button. Click on the OK button to create the list. The list with one MAC address of the client has been successfully created. If I select the list, we can edit, clone, or delete a complete list from here. In case of multiple lists, we can also search a specific list from here. Now, the next step is to link this list to a Wi-Fi network. So I will scroll up and click the Wi-Fi Networks tab. Under this tab, I will select the Wi-Fi network, named Test SSID. My laptop is connected to this Wi-Fi network, that is the reason I am going to link the list that I create to this Wi-Fi network. Now press the Edit button above. Edit WLAN page will open. Scroll down and click on the Show Advanced Options. Go to the Access Control tab. Under the Access Control tab, there is a feature, Access Control. We can see here the first three access control lists. These are the same lists, available under the Admin and Services tab. As I mentioned before, we can create all the lists there, under the Admin and Services, and link these lists to any Wi-Fi network later, when required. If I click the drop-down button in front of Layer 2 MAC ACL, we will see the list, named Test Block, I created just a few seconds before. If I check for the other lists, by pressing the drop-down buttons in front of Layer 3 and Device Policy, there is no list available as yet. The reason is, we didn't create any Layer 3 and Device Policy list till now. Once created, will be available here. For now, I will select the list named Test Block for Layer 2 ACL, by pressing the drop-down button. Since my laptop is connected to the same Wi-Fi network, named Test SSID, and I also added my laptop wireless MAC address to the list, so, after linking the list to this Wi-Fi network, my laptop will have no more access to this Wi-Fi network. After selecting the list, if I press the OK button, my laptop will lose communication with RUCKUS Unleashed Web Management Interface. If I check the wireless connectivity, we can see that my laptop has been disconnected from the Wi-Fi network. If I open the command prompt and type ping space followed by the IP address of my RUCKUS Unleashed Web Management Interface, we will see that I am getting no response from the IP address as well. How will I allow again my laptop to reconnect to this Wi-Fi network? To do that, I will go to another PC, which is connected to my test network via Ethernet. I have already accessed RUCKUS Unleashed web management interface on this PC. From here, I will go to the same location and select the Wi-Fi network. Click on the Edit button. If I want to allow my laptop to connect to this Wi-Fi network again, I can deselect the list from here. Simply select the No ACL option under the drop-down list. But, to show you the different ways of managing these lists, I will not deselect it for now. If I click on the Edit button, I can edit the same list from here as well. What will I do? I will simply change the option to allow all clients added to the list below. Now, my laptop will be allowed to connect to this Wi-Fi network again. Press the OK button. Again press the OK button. To check that my laptop has now permission to connect to the Wi-Fi network, I will go to my laptop. I will wait for a moment so that my laptop will search and auto-reconnect to the same Wi-Fi network. It will take a moment, of course. Wait for a few seconds. Here, we can see that my laptop has granted permission to connect to this Wi-Fi network. If I check the ping response now, we can see I am getting the response as well. That's it, we have successfully created a Layer 2 access control list and tested it as well. Let's go and see how to configure a Layer 3 or IP address ACL. Layer 3, 4 or IP address control list. Next is the Layer 3, 4 or IP address access control list. Here, we can define Layer 3, 4 or IP address access control lists and apply them to Wi-Fi networks later. It allows or denies clients from using the network resources based on IP addresses, applications, and protocols, etc. Let's see how it works. To create a Layer 3 access control list, we can simply click on the Create button. Create a new page will open. All we have to do is enter all the required information here, and then press the OK button. But this time, I will not create an ACL from here. I will show you another way to create the access control lists at Wi-Fi networks level. Let me go to the Wi-Fi networks tab. Here, I will change the display mode from card to table so that all the Wi-Fi networks will be displayed here on a single page. I will select the Wi-Fi network named Test SSID, which I am working on, and my laptop is also connected to this Wi-Fi network. From above, press the Edit button. Click on the Show Advanced Options. Now select the Access Control tab. Under this tab, if we check the drop-down list for Layer 3 ACL, the only option, No ACL, is available here. The reason is, we didn't create any Layer 3 ACL as yet. We can create and edit an access control list from here as well, but we cannot delete an ACL from here. To create an access control list, simply press the plus button. Create a new page will open. This is the same page, which I showed you before under the Admin and Services tab, where we create the ACL lists. I am going to name this ACL list as Test Layer 3 Policy. I will leave the description field empty, as this one is optional. Next is the default mode. If no rule is matched in this list, then one of the default actions will be applied. If we set the default mode as Deny All by default, then what will happen? It will search all the rules under this list first. Then, block or deny everything else except the rules we added to this list. The same way, if we set the default mode as Allow All by default, then it will first search all the rules under this list, and allow everything else except the rules we added to this list. To show you a demo, I will not create any rule for now, and set the default mode to Deny All by default, and then press the OK button to create the list. The Layer 3 access control list has been created successfully, with only default rules and default mode set to Deny All by default. We can see the name of the list we just created. Press the OK button again to apply the list to this Wi-Fi network. As I said, if we set the default mode to deny all by default, then it will deny everything except the rules added to this list. So, if I refresh the Unleashed Network Management page, we will see this page is no longer accessible. If I open the command prompt and try to ping the IP address of my RUCKUS Unleashed Network Management interface, we can see that we are getting no response. If I try to ping a machine on the network, which is connected via Ethernet, we will get no response. Now, I will try to ping a laptop, which is connected to another access point and different Wi-Fi network. Again, we will get no response. If I try to ping google.com, we will get no response either, meaning no internet access. The question is, why are we unable to get any response from these network-connected devices and the internet? The answer is, we set the default mode to deny all by default if no rule is matched under the list we created. Since we added no rule to the list as yet, so everything will be blocked when it finds no rule to match. Now, I will go to another PC on the network, connected via Ethernet. I have already accessed RUCKUS Unleashed Web Management Interface on this PC. To refresh the settings on this PC that I made via my laptop, I will first click on some other tab, and then select the Layer 3 tab again. We will see that the list I created will appear now after refreshing the settings. I will select the list and click on the Edit button to make changes under this list. Now, without adding any new rule to the list, I will only change the default mode to Allow All by default. What will happen now? By changing the default mode to Allow All by default, my laptop will now be allowed to access everything. Press the OK button. If I go to my laptop now, and retry to ping google.com by pressing the up arrow button from the keyboard, it will now start responding. If I ping the IP address of the laptop again, we were getting no response from, we will see that it has started responding. If I retry to ping the IP address of my Unleashed Web Management interface, it is also responding now. I will click on the Refresh button to refresh the Unleashed Web Management page. We can see that it will now access this page either. Meaning, the changes we made to allow everything, if no rule is matched, have been applied successfully. On my laptop, I will again go to the Access Control tab under the Test SSID settings. I will click on the Edit button to add a rule to this list. Basically, I will now show you how to add or create a rule. Since the default mode is set to allow everything, so I will add an opposite rule. I already have accessed my RUCKUS Unleashed Web Management interface via HTTPS protocol, so I will create a rule where I will restrict everyone on this Wi-Fi network if they try to access this Unleashed Web Management interface using HTTPS protocol. To create a rule under this list, click on the button which says Create New. Create Rules page will appear. Leave the order number as default. In the description field, I will type the name as block HTTPS. Next is the type field. Since I am creating this rule to block access, so I will select the option Deny from the drop-down list. Next is the source address. Source address means the IP address of the client or device who will be accessing the Unleashed Web Management interface or the client or device we want to apply these restrictions to. By default, the source address is set to any, meaning all clients or devices will either be allowed or restricted. We can also type here a single IP address along with a subnet mask of a specific client or machine if we want to apply this rule to a specific client or machine. Format of a single IP address will be like 10.0.3.190, followed by the / and then the subnet mask of 23. For the demo, I will block all the clients from accessing the Unleashed Web Management interface, so I will leave the source address as the default. The destination address means the address which a client or machine will try to access. In this example, the destination address will be the address of my Unleashed Network Web Management Interface. But for the demo, I would say that all the destination addresses will be blocked for all clients. So, again, I will leave it as the default. Like the source address, we can also type here an IP address of a single destination along with its subnet mask. The important setting is the application that we are going to choose from. In the Applications field, if I click on the drop-down button, we will see many applications like HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, SSH, Telnet, SMTP, DNS, DHCP and SNMP. Actually, I want to restrict everyone from accessing the destination via HTTPS only, so I will select it from the list. By default, the All option is selected. Upon selecting the specific application, the destination port number will be selected itself. In this example, the port number of HTTPS is 443. Next is the source port. Again, I will leave it as the default, which means all the ports. After entering all the information, press the OK button to create the rule. The rule, mentioned as order number 3, has been added to this list. Press again the OK button to apply the settings. Upon applying the rule, my laptop will lose communication with Unleashed Web Management Interface using the HTTPS protocol. Let me open a new tab here and try to access the Unleashed Web Management Interface with HTTPS protocol to check the allow or deny permission, while try accessing this Unleashed Web Management Interface from my laptop, connected to this Wi-Fi network, which I applied the rule to. Access to the Unleashed Web Management Interface using HTTPS protocol has been blocked. If I open Command Prompt and ping the IP address of Unleashed Web Management Interface, we will see that we are getting response from the IP address. If I try to check the communication with a laptop connected to other access point and different Wi-Fi network, we will have successful communication with that laptop. If I try to ping the IP address of a desktop PC, connected to the network via Ethernet, we are getting a response from that PC also. It means that all the clients connected to this Wi-Fi network will have access to everything. The only access to the Unleashed Web Management Interface will be blocked, if and only if it is via HTTPS protocol. Now I will go to the same PC, which is connected to the network via Ethernet. To refresh the settings applied, I will first click on some other tab, and then click back on this tab, so that the changes we made will be refreshed on the browser here on this PC. I will select the list and then press the Edit button to make changes to the list. Under this list, I will select the rule that I created recently and then press the Edit button to make changes. I will change the type from Deny to Allow. Then I will press the OK button to save the changes. Now all the clients connected to this Wi-Fi network will be allowed to access everything, including the Unleashed Web Management Interface using HTTPS protocol, which was blocked. Press again the OK button to make changes to this list. If I go to my laptop and refresh the internet browser, we will see that my laptop can now access the Unleashed Web Management Interface. Next I am going to show you in which order the rules are being applied, plus, if we create the same rule with different access permissions. I will go to the Wi-Fi Network tab again, and then to the Access Control tab. I will press the Edit button to make changes to the selected ACL list. I will first select rule number 3 named Block HTTPS, and then press the Edit button. Here, I am going to change its name in the description field. Since this rule has the Allow permission only, so I will also rename it to Allow HTTPS. Press the OK button to save the changes. Now, I will create another rule with the same settings for HTTPS, but with deny permissions. We have added 2 rules with the same settings, but different permissions. Rule number 3 will allow HTTPS requests, whereas rule number 4 will deny HTTPS requests. The question is, if we have two rules with the same settings, but different permissions, then which one will be applied? It depends on the order number of the rule. The rule which comes first, while matching the rules, will be applied. If we look at the order numbers, the Allow HTTPS rule is on number 3, and the Block HTTPS rule is on number 4. The rule Allow HTTPS will come first while matching the rules, so, will be applied. If there are two rules with different permissions, the only rule, which comes first, will be applied. Press the OK button twice to save the changes. If I refresh the web browser on my laptop, to check the access permission to the Unleashed Web Management Interface via HTTPS, we can see, my laptop has no restrictions, while accessing the Unleashed network. This is because, the rule Allow HTTPS comes first in the order list. Now, I will change the order of the rules, number 3 and number 4, then we'll retry to verify the access permission. I will again go to the same location, and press the Edit button to make changes to the selected rule. What I will do? I will select the rule Block HTTPS, and then press on the Move Up button, to bring it up. When I do that, the order numbers of both rules will be switched. Meaning that, the rule Block HTTPS will be on the third number, and the rule Allow List will go to the fourth number. Since, the rule named Block HTTPS will come first, while matching the rules, so now, everyone on this Wi-Fi network will be restricted, if try to access the Unleashed Web Management Interface via HTTPS protocol. Press the OK button twice, to save the changes. Upon applying the rule, we can see that, the Unleashed Web Management page is now grayed out, means, lost the communication via HTTPS protocol. If I open Command Prompt and try to ping the IP address of Unleashed Web Management Interface, we will see that, ping response is working very well. It means that, restriction are being applied to the HTTPS protocol only. We can now say that, if there are two same rules with different permissions, the only rule, which comes first in the order list, will be applied. Same procedure will apply to other rules as well. The application of rules depends on the order number. All the rules will be applied sequentially according to the order numbers. In case of two same rules, only one rule will be applied, which comes first as per the order number. To access the Unleashed Web Management Interface again from my laptop via HTTPS protocol, I will go to the PC that is connected to the network via Ethernet. From this PC, I will select the list and press the Edit button to make changes to this list. Now I will delete the rule named Block HTTPS, and then save the changes by pressing the OK button. If I go to my laptop now, and refresh the web browser by pressing the Refresh button, we can see that, now I can access the Unleashed Web Management Interface from my laptop again. That's it. We have successfully created, configured and applied Layer 3, 4, or IP address access control list. Let's proceed towards the next ACL named, Device Access Policy. Device Access Policy. Next ACL is the Device Access Policy lists. Here, we can define or create access control lists to either allow or deny clients based on their operating system types and VLANs. We can define the bandwidth limits, upload and download limits for the allowed clients. To create a list, I will press the Create button. Create New page will open. The laptop that I will be using in the video for testing purpose, has Windows 10 operating system installed. That's why I am going to name this list as Windows Machines. The description field is optional, so I will leave it empty. We can type anything here for our convenience, if we want to. Next is the default mode. The default action, either deny all by default or allow all by default, will be applied if no rule is matched. We can choose between these two default actions, whichever suits our requirements. I will start with selecting the default action as deny all by default and without adding any rule to this list. Since I didn't add any rule to this list, so there will be no rule to match with. Upon finding no rule under the list, all the clients will be blocked. By all, I mean all the clients who try to connect to the Wi-Fi network that this list will be linked to. Press the OK button to save changes to the list. The device policy access list has been created successfully. Now, we have to link this list to a Wi-Fi network. So, I will go to the Wi-Fi Networks tab. Under this tab, I will change the display mode from card to table, so that all the Wi-Fi networks will be displayed here on one single page. Now, select the Wi-Fi network that we want to link this list to. Press the Edit button to make changes to this Wi-Fi network. Click on the Show Advanced Options. Go to Access Control tab. Now, for the device policy, if I check the drop-down list, we can see that the device access policy named Windows Machine that I created is available here. I will select it. After selecting the list, if I press the OK button, a message appears, saying that we must enable the dynamic VLAN as well, if playing with device access policy. So, press the OK button. Go to the WLAN Priority tab. Under this tab, check the checkbox to enable dynamic VLAN. I will again go to the Access Control tab to make sure that the list is also selected. Now, press on the OK button. As soon as I press the OK button, the Unleashed Web Management Interface will stop responding. My laptop has lost communication with Unleashed Web Management Interface. If I open the command prompt and try to ping an IP address of a PC connected to the network via Ethernet, we will get no response. If I ping the IP address of the Unleashed Network Web Management Interface, we will find that no response will be there from this IP address as well. My laptop has been disconnected from the Wi-Fi network also. It means that all the clients will be restricted while connecting to this Wi-Fi network, if the default action is set to deny all by default and no rule is added to this list. Now, I will go to another PC on the network, which is connected to the network via Ethernet. I have already accessed the Unleashed Web Management Interface from on this PC. The Device Access Policy tab is already selected, but we cannot see the list named Windows Machines here that we created on the laptop. To refresh the settings, I will first select some other tab and then reselect this tab to refresh the settings. The list named Windows Machines will appear now after refreshing the settings. I will select the list and press the Edit button to make changes to this list. Now what I am going to do. As we can see, the default action is set to deny all by default, if no rule is matched. So, I will add a new and opposite rule here. I will add a rule to allow all the clients only with Windows operating systems installed. To create a new rule, press the button, Create New. Create Rules page will open. Leave the order number as default. In the description field, I will type Allow Windows Machines. In the OS/vendor field, under the drop-down list, we can choose between the different operating systems and vendors. Since I am creating this rule for clients with Windows operating system, so I will select the operating system Windows. In the Type field, I will choose Allow. Per station uplink and downlink are disabled by default. Disabled means that no restrictions of bandwidth limit will be applied. For the demo, I will set both the uplink and downlink bandwidth limits to 1 megabit per second. It means all the clients with Windows operating system installed will have the maximum bandwidth of 1 megabit per second for upload and download. I will leave the VLAN field empty, means, clients from any VLAN will be forced to adopt the settings that are defined in this rule. Press the OK button to save the rule. Press again the OK button to save changes to the list. Let's go to my laptop and see the changes if applied. We can see that my laptop has now permission to connect to this Wi-Fi network again. If I ping the IP address of the Unleashed Web Management Interface by pressing the up arrow from the keyboard, the IP address is responding now. If I ping another PC on the network, which was blocked previously, it will now respond as well. If I refresh the web browser, the Unleashed Web Management Interface is also responding now. Means that all the clients will be blocked while connecting to this Wi-Fi network, except the clients with Windows operating system. On my laptop, I will now go to the Wi-Fi Networks tab. Under this tab, I will change the display mode to table. Select the Wi-Fi network and go to the location to edit the access control list that we are working on. Now, I will change the default action to Allow All by default. All the clients will be allowed to connect to this Wi-Fi network, if no rule is matched. I will select the rule that I created to allow the clients with Windows operating systems installed. Press the Edit button. I will make some changes to this rule. What will I do? Since I set the default action to Allow All by default, so now, I am going to set this rule in the opposite direction. All the clients with Windows operating system only will be denied if they try to connect to this network. So, I will rename it to Block Windows Machines. In the Type field, I will set the permission to Deny. Upon selecting the Deny permission, we will see that the uplink, downlink bandwidth limits and the VLAN options will also be grayed out. Press the OK button twice to save the changes to the list. We can see that my laptop with Windows operating system installed has lost communication with the Unleashed Web Management Interface. If I try to check communication with a PC on the network, the communication has been terminated. If I try to communicate with the IP address of the Unleashed Web Management Interface, there will be no communication. If I check the wireless connectivity of my laptop, we can see that my laptop has been disconnected. I will now simply change the permission. I will go to the PC to allow, where I have accessed the Unleashed Web Management Interface. I will select the list and then press the Edit button. Now, I will select the rule and press the Edit button again to make changes to this rule. I will simply change the permission from Deny to Allow. Press the OK button to save changes to the rule. Again press the OK button to save changes to the list. Now all the clients, including the clients with Windows operating system, will be allowed to connect to this Wi-Fi network. To verify the settings, I will go to my laptop. If I refresh the web browser, we see that now, my laptop has granted permission to access the Unleashed Web Management Interface again. If I check the wireless connectivity with this Wi-Fi network, we will see that my laptop has now also granted permission to connect to this network. That's it, we have successfully created, configured, and applied a device access policy. I hope we all now have a better understanding of what the device access policies are, and how to configure and apply these policies. Deleting access control lists. Next I will show you that, how can we delete the access control lists that we created and link to a Wi-Fi network. If I try to delete the access control list that I created and linked to a Wi-Fi network named Test SSID. Upon pressing the delete button, for each ACL, a confirmation message appears, which says that, do we really want to delete the list? If I press the Yes button, a next message appears, which will inform us that the list we are trying to delete cannot be deleted because it is linked to a Wi-Fi network. The Wi-Fi network name will also be mentioned here to which this ACL is linked to. So what do we do? We will first go to the Wi-Fi Networks tab, and then select the Wi-Fi network, which these ACLs are linked to and press the Edit button. Click on the Show Advanced Options and go to the Access Control tab, where we link these ACLs to this Wi-Fi network. Then for each type of access control policy, we will first select No ACL from the drop-down list. After doing this, press the OK button. Now, if we go to the Admin and Services tab, and try to delete the lists by selecting the list first and then pressing the Delete button, it will again display a confirmation message. If I press the Yes button now, we will see that all the lists will be successfully deleted one by one. So, to delete an access control list, it is necessary that the list we are going to delete will not be linked to any Wi-Fi network. If it is, then we have to first unlink the ACL from the mentioned Wi-Fi network. That's it, we successfully configured and tested the first 3 types of access control policies in this video. We also learned that, how can we delete these access control lists, if we want to. Next video. In my next video, I will cover the 4th type of access control lists, I mean, Client Isolation Allow list. Or we can say that, what is the wireless client isolation? Hi. If you liked this video, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Also leave your query in the comments section below. I will be more than happy to entertain. Thanks.